Hi there folks, it's Deni. Well, I might be sad, but some of us don't have that many friends, or their friends just don't game, so these poor guys just have to settle for single-player games. But even if you are one of them, don't worry, today I brought you a list of 15 extremely cool single-player games. Well, today's video is for everyone, because the games I'm gonna show you are really awesome. So sit back and relax, but before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Okay, let's get started. Sifu is a great choice if you want to spend some time alone. It's a third-person action-adventure game that will take you on epic journeys full of battles and martial arts. The protagonist, he is a young guy or girl who has been learning kung fu for a long time. But all of a sudden a tragedy happened to him. His family was murdered, and now he decides by all means to take revenge on the guilty. Using the skills and knowledge he gained from his master, he has to go hunting for the killers. Well, that's about the plot. As for the gameplay, the real highlight of this game is the combat system, which includes a lot of tricks like punches, combos and so on. Also, you can use edged weapons and some other handy items that are located right on the game location. So the environment here is like interactive, and I think it's very cool. Another great game I want to show you is Terra Nil, a city-building sandbox simulator. It will take you to a great wide lands of eco-friendly world with a landscape that you have to use to build a full-fledged city. It sounds like a typical city planning simulator, but the fact is that everything here is made with a focus on ecology. This means that you will need to build eco-friendly buildings and extract resources without damaging the nature. An important aspect of successful development of the city is the financial well-being, which is achieved through foraging trade and the opening of all kinds of stories and stuff like that. There is plenty of space to go around, so you'll have plenty of room to build a real megapolis here, and be prepared that this game will keep you busy for hours. Well, probably many of you have already heard of Days Gone, but I tell you about it today. It's kind of a mix of action and survival game. The game is set in a world that has suffered a zombie epidemic. You will be controlling Deacon St. John, a former biker now working as a mercenary. Speaking of the game's pros, the first thing I would like to point out is the really huge open world, where you can explore any territory you want, either during quests or in between. There's literally a huge amount of locations, factions of survivors, factions attacking everyone without exception, and all sorts of random events that will affect the plot and stuff like that. It has everything you expect from zombie apocalypse games: dangerous traps, lots of weapons, and of course a cool motorcycle. Let's talk a little more about zombies, cause I'm gonna show you World War Z. Well, actually, it's mostly a cooperative game, but who says you can't play it alone? Well, he will be doing all sorts of missions, taking part in dangerous operations, and of course fighting zombies. You'll have a squad of people under your command who have managed to survive this hell. So you'll have to keep an eye on each member of your team and not let any of them get infected. Besides good shooting skills, in this game you will need a great strategic skills. And if you do have those, go for it. Well, enough about the zombies. Next we have Sacrlet Nexus, and it's an anime-style RPG with a rather unusual storyline. You get to a world in the distant future. In this world, scientists have discovered a psionic hormone in the human brain that gives its possessors psychic abilities. But people barely had time to rejoice in the beginning of a new era of humanity, when mutants began to arrive on Earth and they are eager to steal people's brains. They are called the Others, though they look more like some fat horses, something like that. But anyway, the rest of the survivors united and decided to fight these monsters. You here will have to take on the role of a regular recruit who strives to become the strongest psionic fighter. That's what they call people with these very superpowers. Well, you have to take up arms and go to the streets of the city to clear the surroundings from enemies and solve the great mystery that this place hides. Well, it's time to sit at the helm and put on the plane, because we are gonna take a look at Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown, a cool airplane pilot simulator. And it's not just a simple boring simulator, there is even a story here, and let's talk about it more. This game will tell you about the girl pilot that lost her father in the war. Now she is eager to take part in the air battles and do her best to make the war finally come to an end. And how it will all end? Well, you better find out for yourself. As for the gameplay, the developers put a lot of effort to the upgrading system. For example, when you perform different missions, you will be earning points that you can then spend on upgrading your plane. There are a lot of details and each one is important. Some increase the speed, the other one upgrades the maneuvering and controllability, the third one adds the speed to recharge your guns, and so on. In general, the game is really cool. All simulator fans should definitely try it. I think indie games are just a great choice for single play. So let's take a look at the two-dimensional platformer Blasphemous, for instance. The game is set in the lands of Sivistoria, a kingdom whose inhabitants have been cursed. People are dying, the kingdom is gradually crumbling, and only you, the brave hero caught in the trap of eternity, is able to stop it. You want to know what the hell the infinity trap is? Well, it means you die and rise again here forever. It's like the protagonist's curse, but it's what can save the world from complete annihilation. The gameplay here is pretty simple and based on the traditional well-known mechanics like fighting, solving puzzles, exploring secret locations and fighting bosses, and sometimes they look pretty nasty. Well, interactive games are one of the best things for those who want to spend time alone, and that's a fact. You know what that means? It means it's time to check out Beyond Two Souls. This interactive drama game will tell you the story of Jodie Holmes, a girl with telepathic powers. Well, to be more exact, she doesn't have powers, but a mental connection with a being from the otherworldly dimension named Aiden. He's the one who helps Jodie see through walls, read minds, hypnotize people, and generally make them do whatever she wants. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? Well, why don't you try this game yourself? That's more, there are enough dynamic moments, so you won't be just sitting and watching a movie here. Well, if you want to make the whole game with action and a huge ego of the main character, you really need to try Devil May Cry 5 game. In short, basically the whole Devil May Cry game series is based on like fighting demons, and at the end you fight the main demons. As for this game itself, its main feature in the number of playable characters. There are 3 of them and each one has its own storyline, and unique gameplay. Nero, the young demon hunter, wields a powerful sword and multifunctional prosthesis. The mysterious V summons demonic creatures and beats his enemies with his special cane. And Dante, as he always has, shows off, waving his sword, beating demons with his fists, shooting them with his pistols, and sometimes running them over on his motorcycle. Anyway, this action slasher is the best for a single play. If you want to shoot in some colorful atmosphere, you will like Volcanoids. As the plot goes, you will play as a survivor who has managed to take over a huge drilling rig, capable of moving on the surface, drilling tunnels, extracting resources and, in fact, literally being your base. You need to equip it with new devices, facilities, modifications, and stuff like that. And to do this, you'll have to make frequent forays into the outside world, look for all kinds of useful things there, and, of course, fight your enemies. It has everything you could want from a shooter: a huge open world with an erupting volcano, robot enemies, beautiful scenery, and a lot of opportunities to experience this atmosphere of despair. Sounds like a good choice for a single-player pastime. Black Mesa is another cool shooter. Well, in fact, it is a remake of famous Half-Life. The development team worked on this project for several years, and all they wanted to recreate the atmosphere and the mood of first part of the game as it was before. You will be controlling Gordon Freeman, an employee of sci-fi complex. The first thing that catches your eye in this game is the visuals. Of course, the devs have redesigned all the textures of the levels, characters, videos, and more to kind of refresh the game. The basic gameplay mechanics are pretty much unchanged from the first game and have even become more versatile. There will be even more stealth, and unlike most modern shooters, you won't get everything on a silver platter. You'll need to find all the items and other stuff. You'll need to complete the game by yourself, and that's cool. Next up, we have Old World. This is a turn-based global strategy game in an ancient setting. The game takes place in a vast ancient world where there has been a war for territory for many years, and you will be here as the ruler of one of the leading countries. The gameplay is very different from other games of this type. You can give several orders to your units in one go. The higher your authority, the more simultaneous orders you can give. Another feature of this game is that the rulers are dying of old age. So, during the region you need to prepare the worthy successor. And as soon as the new ruler ascends the throne, he will need to earn the authority of his people again. In general, everything is like in real life. The very development of the state here includes not only the arms race, exploration of technology and conquest of territories, but also the ennobling of lands, building and many other peaceful activities. So if you wanted to fill in the shoes of a powerful ruler, now is your chance. Let's take a look at the shooter Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2. The main character, he is a loner, or rather a professional sniper mercenary who has been sent to Quamar. This is like a fictional state in the Middle East. The world is on the brink of a new war because of the aggressive actions of its leadership, resulting in the inevitable rise in oil prices. So external government forces have contracted with the protection protagonist, and now he must take out strategic facilities and eliminate the rulers of this state. There are several regions with different missions, like in one region you will need to destroy the target from a great range, calculating the distance, the trajectory or the bullet's flight, and other sniper stuff beforehand. And in the other region, there will be missions that will require you to have stealth skills. The emphasis in this game is made on realism, elaborated bullet ballistics and weapon accuracy. In short, the game looks really cool, so go ahead, future snipers. And next we have a very unusual survival game, The Wild 8. Here you have to survive after a plane crash in the middle of snowy Alaska. Of course, you can just get some resources and build a shelter and sit there waiting for rescue, but it's much more interesting to find out the real reason of the plane crash, explore strange territories and find unique artifacts in secret laboratories. Sounds a lot more interesting than just building a base and doing survival, doesn't it? Well, your main enemy here will be nature. However, hunger and cold are not the worst things that the main character will face. Many bloodthirsty creatures and terrible secrets lurk in the local abandoned bunkers and laboratories. And of course, wild animals are always ready to tear you apart. By the way, you can play this game together with your friend, and it will be much easier. But if you want to survive really hard, it's better to play alone. Now the video is coming to the end, and the last game we are gonna look at today is Evil West, dynamic action game with the grim atmosphere of the Wild West. The game is set in a fictional universe somewhere between the Clint Eastwood movies and the Vampire Hunter stories. However, the gameplay looks very unusual. Instead of tracking down your victims and preparing to kill them, you have to run around furiously, tearing your enemies to pieces in Doom style and shooting your enemies as if you are in Painkiller. The main character here can also upgrade weapons, find new gadgets and use them to improve his arsenal. All in all, this game is reminiscent of a Hollywood action movie with lots of special effects, expressive stylistics and unlimited freedom of action, and such things can get many players hooked for a long time. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found something interesting, and if so, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's been Deni, see ya guys soon.